Hello, everybody, and welcome in to the OnlyBets Sports Betting Podcast alongside my co-host, Stern Bets, and Drew DeLucci. I am Prince of Picks. We've got the three-man weave coming at you because, of course, we do. Because this is the college basketball bracketology preview show. We're really excited to get into the tournament here, heading into selection night here, selection Sunday, happening here in a couple hours here as we do this show live at 4 p.m. Eastern. So I'm really interested to see what the guys think here in terms of maybe teams that we need to be looking at, maybe some favorites. And maybe some not so much favorites, maybe some overrated teams as well. I'm really interested to see what the two boys have to say about that. We got two great college basketball minds here in Stern Bretts and Drew DeLucci, awesome cappers as well, of course. And so really interested to see what their thoughts are as we head into the tournament here and head into Selection Sunday, again, taking place here in just a few hours' time as we do this show live here at 4 p.m. Eastern. Before we get into it, guys, if you can do us real quick, head on over to Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Give us a real quick rate, review, and subscribe. Really appreciate all the support you guys have been giving us. And for the sake of time here, let's go ahead and rip into it. Let me pass it over to my co-host, Mr. Stern Betts, Mr. Mosh. Good afternoon, brother. What's going on?
Hey man, hope you had a good weekend. I sure did myself. I'm excited to hear what Drew has to say about all this. And remember, this is part one of two of our bracketology here show. We're going to be doing a pre-show before the selection. And then once 6 o'clock rolls out, then we're probably going to hopefully either do one later tonight or tomorrow to kind of nail down what we think of the actual selection, which is going to be quite controversial as it usually is. So and excited to get into it, and welcome in Drew. How you doing, man?
Doing good, and also something I will say, guys. Can you guys hear me fine?
Yep, can hear you perfectly good.
Oh, perfect. I just want to make sure to let you know, guys. It's pretty cool. If you guys want to look at, everybody probably knows who Joe Lenardi is. He makes the bracket. He makes the preview bracket, and he's usually like 90% right. He usually uses net rating based off what the committee usually uses to give a preview. So it's for free. So you can look it up. You can click it on ESPN. It'll pop up of who he projects, who plays who's in the first four. So that's my first take on that to let you know. So, but yeah, definitely let me know, Prince and Stern, if you guys have any certain questions in regards to what's coming up to a very exciting event.
Yeah, for sure. So what we're gonna plan on doing here is I'm gonna kind of drive the show here. I'll toss questions to the two boys here, and they'll give their thoughts. So what we'll do first here is we'll just give a quick recap of the auto bids that happened today. I don't want to necessarily break down the games today. I want to keep this more in terms of just previewing the tournament as a whole. But we'll real quick here. We did have some auto bids here, and some games taking place today. So first up here, we had Penn taking on Yale. That was a hell of a comeback from Penn. That was back and forth the whole game. But I think the real story here was a TJ Power, a career high 40 points for him. He absolutely dominated the game, and he was the reason, in my opinion, why Penn ended up winning here and advancing to the big dance here. But I'll ask you, Drew, first. Let me toss it to you. Just as a generalization here, we'll keep this to like 1 or 2 minutes per game, guys. We don't want to keep anything too long here, too in depth until the brackets are released. But any thoughts here on Penn as they head into the tournament here, getting an auto bid? Where do we think they might be seated, and what do we think of them in terms of advancing? Any chance at all?
Yeah. So basically, what I'm thinking in regards when it comes to Penn, unfortunately, I believe Penn will probably get a 15 seed, or they'll probably get a 16 seed in this regard. And if they are a 16 seed, I'm going to say rest in peace to Penn, because the projected 4-1 seeds right now are Florida, Michigan, Arizona, and Duke. So that's the case. And then the projected, I believe, two seeds are, I think it's like Houston and some other people. But I think they're going to be in big trouble if Penn is a 16 or 15 seed. It's going to be very hard for them to get an upset, as we've only seen two 1-seed upsets before. They did happen recently, but it has happened. But it's going to be very hard with these deep 1 seeds this year.
Yeah, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the one seeds this season are a little bit more top heavy than years past. Maybe I think there's a pretty significant, I would say, disparity between your number one seeds and your two and three. Like very top heavy, right? Your top teams are significantly better than maybe one seeds have been in the past, and I think that just speaks to probably the overall talent in college basketball as well. Stern, let me pass it to you. You have any thoughts here on how what we think of Penn here, the Ivy League representative, shockingly here to a lot of people. Most people expected Yale to be the representative here, but it is going to be Penn. We don't have the brackets yet, but just any kind of thoughts from you at all, just as overall for how we think Penn might progress here in the tournament?
Yeah, no, not much. I think Drew said it pretty spot on. Very nice game today. Well done. Good luck. This is gonna be a
Good luck, Penn. Good. That's our official statement to Penn. Shout out to all the Penn fans. Good luck to you all. Next up here, we had another auto bid here taking place in the Southeastern Conference. SEC, of course. Arkansas took down Vanderbilt. Arkansas, of course, with the highly recruited Darius Acuff. Of course, expected to be a top 5 lottery pick in the NBA. So Arkansas seems to be a pretty loaded team now. I'll pass it to you, Drew, first. I'm sure you have some thoughts in terms of how far we can see Arkansas. I know the one thing I will say is John Calipari does have a history of kind of faltering in the tournament here lately. I think that was part of the reason why Kentucky saw kind of showed him the door. Now, I will say he probably had better teams at Kentucky than what he has at Arkansas right now, but Arkansas is still a very good team. And of course, when you have Darius Acuff, you're going to be expected to go far in the tournament. What do we think of them just
Yeah.
overall here? What kind of seeding are we expecting and what kind of progression?
Yeah, this is a big win for Arkansas. Something you guys need to, I noted, of course, there is no Power 5 now. It's just Power 4 because the Pac-12 is gone, but Pac-12 is reforming. This is the first time since 2019 that all the Power 4 conference tournament winners already had at-large bids. So that shows you that's good. It shows you these teams that are already in are actually trying this tournament, which is what we love to see. But something I like about this team, and also I will say though, last year Calipari didn't have a great team, and they overachieved. Even going, they won 2 games with Arkansas. I think they beat Kansas and they beat St. John's, and they ended up losing.
Were they a 9 seed last season?
Yeah,
Like
and
eight
that
or
was the first
nine,
time
right?
under
Yeah.
Bill Self Kansas ever lost in the first round, too, which was kind of crazy. But I love this team with Arkansas. Darius Acuff might be one of the best players, if not the best player in the nation. I feel like Calipari does better when he doesn't have loaded talent everywhere. I've noticed that because he doesn't overthink it. When he usually just has one star and a bunch of really good, not going to call them role players, a bunch of really good players that know their job, like Billy Richmond, great player. Brazil took over the game today, too, as well. You know, they have Thomas, who's really good. So I expect this Arkansas team to go far, especially with Darius Acuff at the helm and their seasoned vets they have as well, too. It just depends where they're going to line up. I think with this win, Arkansas deserves a 3 or 4 seed personally, and I think it's going to depend where they are on the bracket, what 1 or 2 seed they're going to be with in the bracket.
Yeah, and sometimes I think you're able to maybe, they say it about players, the players play more freely when you don't have as much stress and pressure on you. I think the same could be said for coaching. So maybe that's kind of the to speak to your point here, why Calipari, maybe he just is able to coach a little bit more freely, just has a little bit more stress, is able to think a little bit more clearly when he doesn't have a team
Yeah.
that's as highly thought of, I would say, or
It
the
reminds me
expectations
of
aren't quite as
the
high.
Anthony Davis team rather than the Karl Anthony Towns, Devin Booker, the stack team where he has a star in Anthony Davis and he has some really good players like Michael Kidd-Gilchrist and such. He struggles more. I know that stack team, the most stacked team you've ever seen, only went to the Final Four, but that was a failure. Like I notice he struggles when he has like literally he had Towns, he had Booker, he had a bunch of other like crazy first round picks.
He had an NBA team as a college team, pretty much. So
Yeah, Booker was coming
you
off the
know,
bench.
Yeah, and crazy. Yeah, crazy, crazy, crazy. Yeah, as a Suns fan, I always look back at that and think that's wild how deep that team was, and Booker was coming off the bench. But Stern, let me pass it to you. Any thoughts from you here on one of the, I would say, maybe preseason or pre-tournament favorites here in Arkansas? I think in some people's books, they're probably expecting them to go far. What you got any thoughts on this one?
My model has them projected to be in the 5th seed, which I think is fair. When you're looking at them, they have incredible offensive efficiency, and it's going to be exciting to see how they run up games against people who may play a slower type of defense. So I'm excited to see who they match up with and what they can do in the tournament for sure.
Cool, awesome. All right, then we'll move on to our third auto bid of today, where we had in the A10 VCU. Punched their ticket to the big dance here, winning the American 10 conference here, or Atlantic 10, sorry. Drew, I know this is one of our maybe our mid-major darlings here. Not so much highly thought of here when you're talking about some of the big dogs and big favorites. But any thoughts here on where we could possibly see VCU being seated? And also, do they have any kind of realistic chance here of progressing out of the first round?
They'll probably be an 11 seed. That's why I saw Lenardi did, and that's what I expect too as well. Not just because they were before this game right on the bubble to where like, hey, they needed to win this game, so they didn't have to leave it to the committee, to make that decision to where they had to play a last four in game or stuff. And they're a really good team. I love watching them, and also the A10 is such a good conference. There's been different winners every year. Of course, we remember when we think of VC, we think of that Final Four run a long time ago. But VCU, they're honestly they're an all around well rounded team. They're an amazing defense. They have players that can shoot the three. They can drive the paint. They draw fouls at a high rate. They can get to the free throw line. And I saw some projections that they may face Louisville to the extent. And then if that's the case, then that would be an amazing game to watch. I can see them causing an upset in the first round. This is the one team we've talked about so far. I can really see an upset being caused just because how they play. They're really well coached. They've had 26 straight winning seasons, guys. Think about that. Like that's with the Dukes, the Kansases, and so on. So that's just very impressive to me with this VCU team. They're well rounded. They did lose to St. Louis twice this year, but they also did beat Dayton three times, which was very hard to do. So I like this team. They just need to play their game.
Yeah, the days of Shaka Smart might be long in the past, but the consistency is still there. And I do think this team has a lot of value here. I think it's more probably matchup dependent for them in terms of if they're able to make an upset here. But I definitely think they have the talent here to get out of the first round. Stern, what do you think about this VCU side?
Elite defenses will always have a chance. That's it.
Yeah,
They will always
yeah,
have a chance.
yeah.
If you have a good defense, you can hang with anybody. Now, we know from experience that in this tournament, people who can shoot threes like Kentucky in past years, they can blow you out no matter what type of defense you're playing. But if you have good defense, I think that the odds and the models will link you a lot. So yeah, I think that we're going to expect to see some tight games.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, cool. So those are the auto bits that we've had for today. We do still have a couple games going on here as we're doing this show live. So we'll see what happens with those final auto bids. But here, what I'm going to do now is just break down conference by conference here. We'll just give a real quick review of kind of the conference winners, some of the auto bids that we've already had here, automatically making their way to the big dance. So we'll start off here with the American East Conference, where we do have University of Maryland, Baltimore County, UMBC. Of course, a lot of people might remember them from a few years ago. I would say more than a few years ago, multiple years ago, where they had their deep run in the tournament. So there is some history here, or tradition, I would say, for UMBC to make a deep run in the tournament. Now, I know this year's team is significantly different from that team that made it, although that was another higher seeded team, higher in terms of, I believe they were a 14 or 15 seed the year that they went on their big run. But in any case here, Drew, what do we think about UMBC in the tournament?
Yeah, I think UMBC is a really good team. The problem is they're probably going to be a 16 seed. And this is more so one of those things where I don't see them causing an upset to any of the one seeds personally. But if they did have a chance against one team, like a 1% chance to cause an upset because of the way they play, personally, I think it would be against Arizona. It's just because the way they can shoot the three, they play really good defense in their conference. They have players everywhere, and when they get to the free throw line, they make them. So something I would be interested in seeing is the spread in the first round for them. It's just unfortunate they'll probably be a 16 seed, but last time they won the conference, they upset Virginia and they were a
That's
16
right.
seed. So you never know. I know they said no, that was before they said 16 seeds never won, and they proved people wrong. So I think if they were to match up with one team, no offense to Arizona, but I think they would have a worse time against just because how big Florida is, and of course Duke and Michigan. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think this year in specific, I think all the 16 seeds might be RIP to them. I think the number one seeds are probably going to be just that much significantly better, like we just talked about. I think the one seeds this season are significantly better than one season in the past, and so if they do up to getting a 16 seed, I think that's going to be curtains for them. But I'm interested to see if they end up with Arizona, see how that ends up playing out and what the spread ends up being for that. Stern, probably limited thoughts from you, but anything for you on UMBC?
Um, yeah, no, I do project them as a 16th seed, which is going to be really hard to kind of keep up with anybody. Something interesting that I just heard though is I actually have UConn projected to be the number one seed over Florida. Either way, though, not good for UMBC.
Yeah. Okay. I think we're pretty much in consensus for that. So next up here, let's go to the ACC, where maybe the favorites to win it all here, Duke. The Blue Devils here, of course, one of the blue bloods of college basketball. No different this season. Absolutely a top-heavy team here. I'm sure we're all expecting them to make it far. I would say anything less than a Final Four would probably be a massive disappointment for the Blue Devils and their fan base here. Drew, what do we think about Duke? They're probably going to be, well, no, for sure going to be a number one seed, right? Are they going to win it all?
Personally, I don't think they're the team that is going to win it all. I project them to make it to the Elite Eight or Final Four. I like this team, but the big problem about Duke is they're most likely going to be out with two of their best players still. Two of their best players did get hurt. That's why they struggled the last two games in the ACC tournament. So it's going to be very hard for them, in my opinion, to make it terribly far with them out. So I would still put Florida and Michigan ahead of them of favorites to win the title for that reason.
Now, I'm going to throw you a question here because you just reminded me of something that happened quite a while ago. I would say it was probably about, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 years ago. But I remember when Cincinnati was a top seed going into the tournament and they lost Kenyon Martin. He was injured right before the tournament started, but it didn't have any impact on their seeding. Do you think the injuries here for Duke is going to have any impact on their seeding here or probably not?
No, I don't think I'll have any impact on this seeding at all. I think this will be the number one overall seed personally, regardless of the injuries.
Okay, interesting to know. Yeah, because like I said, I remember back then,
So
Cincinnati still ended up being the number one seed, and but they obviously that was a pretty significant injury back then. And I'm drawing a correlation here between superstars not being available like right before the tournament starts. Sir, what do you think about this one?
So it's something that's interesting that you just brought up because, and Drew, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're using expected metrics to kind of go over the resumes of each of these teams, and then they kind of decide who deserves it based on their season performance, not who is the best team, not who will be the best matchup, none of that. It's all about who deserves it, who beat the other teams at the time of, and then they kind of give points and take away points depending on how hard your competition has been, correct?
Yeah, they usually will go based off net rating of a team, which is you can like look on Ken Palm or Torvik for as well, and they look at strength of schedule to make a big key to the factor, and then you get your overall net rating and your rank for net rating. And I think Duke is number one in Torvik and Ken Palm for that, and I think Michigan's probably like two, and Arizona's like three, I think, and then Florida is like four or five. So yeah, that's usually what they look at overall. They combine everything they can with strength of schedule and so on. And then they also look at, who they beat. So for example, Florida is going to be Florida getting one seed is huge in that fact because they started off bad, but you have to go based off that. But the fact that they ended the season the way they did, they're going to be strong in that manner. And it helped them to get the one seed that UConn lost to St. John's.
Oh yeah. I might not have that updated necessarily in my model yet. That's why UConn is probably showing as the number one seed here. But yeah, if we're talking about teams that we expect to go the distance, Duke was my preseason future. So I got them at plus 1300. Obviously, that's a pretty solid number now. But the other two numbers here that I have is Florida. I think I got that in November. St. John's and Kansas, I also got around the same time. Not necessarily as excited for them, but Florida and Duke are my two to kind of go through probably the furthest of the teams that we've talked about so far.
Cool. All right, great. Great information there. And we'll keep an eye on those two for sure as we get odds here once the brackets are released and we get more of an idea of where these teams are going to be seated and who they're going to be bracketed up against when we look down the road here in the bracket. But next up here, let's go to the A-Sun. One of the weaker conferences here. Queens making their first ever tournament bid here, making it to the big dance. This team is just happy to be here, right? Drew, I'll pass it to you first.
Oh, what team did you say?
We're looking at Queens
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
Queens.
This is
Yes.
this they're just happy to be here.
Yeah, they're
Not
happy
really
to be
expecting
here.
anything from them, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna say this. Congratulations for slapping the sticker on the bracket. No offense to them. They slapped the sticker on there, and then they're probably gonna be I would say probably a 15 seed or a 16 seed, and then it's gonna be good luck from there. This is the first time I think they ever made the tournament as well. So I don't really. I know sometimes we've seen the infamous 15-2, right? But it's not quite like the 10-5, in that matter where we at least see one or two 10-5. So, but usually a 15-2, one will happen. I don't think this is the one if they are a 15.
Yeah, yeah. I think this is a team we'll quickly cross out their name here from the brackets as we cross out multiple names here. It's inevitable from our brackets. But Stern, any thoughts from you on Queens here? Shout out to them. Congrats to them for making the tournament. Anything else other than that?
Yeah, I'm going to give the same answer as before. Good luck. This is going to be a really tough. You know what? I mean, listen, you're going to need to go through the tournament at least once or twice in order to get that experience under your belt, just as a school, right? It's a tough road to take going into it fresh.
Yeah, no doubt about it,
Good
and
luck
they'll
if you have to
find
play
out real quick.
Houston.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So 100% might be an epic massacre there. But we'll see. Hey, you know what? Congrats to Queens. So it's not easy making a tournament, and this is a lifelong dream for most of these players. They won't, of course, progress in basketball. Maybe some will go overseas, but majority of them will go on to other professions. So congrats to them, and it'll be something they'll cherish forever. Next up here, let's go to the Big 12. Where Arizona, aforementioned Arizona, we've talked about them already here a little bit. Of course, getting the auto bid from this tournament here. What do we think? I know Arizona is another team we're big on here. I think they have a real shot to go very far in this tournament. Drew, what do we think about them?
Yeah, I think they have a chance to go far. Something about Arizona is they play elite defense. They can get to the paint at will. They can draw fouls. They can rebound. Their only weakness is the 3-point shooting, but I don't think they need it the way they can guard the three as well. It's just like Stern said, elite defense wins. And if you can get to the paint and draw fouls, and you have players, all your players in depth can contribute to points, you're going to go far.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Stern, any thoughts on the Wildcats here? What are we thinking about them going forward?
No, I know EC is a fan of their team, so I always like watching them kind of mess it up at the end here. But they have a statistically very strong team here to go deep.
Yeah, I think the question with them is, can they, mentally stay focused and make it over the long haul of the tournament? The tournament can be grueling, both emotionally and physically. And so I think the physical side, they'll be okay. We'll see what happens emotionally, mentally, as long as they can stay locked in. I think they have a great chance to go very, very far in this tournament. But next up here, let's keep it rolling. We're going to go to the Big East. We have St. John's here, coached by Rick Pitino, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. The Johnnies, what are we thinking about them? Patino, of course, legendary coach. Can't be enough words said about him in terms of his college basketball accolades. But how do we think about the Johnnies here? What kind of seed are we expecting? And what do we think of them?
I love this Johnny's team better this year than last year. I know they're missing a couple. They didn't have a couple pieces last year, but this year they got better transfers. Of course, they got Bryce Hawkins from Providence and also Dylan Mitchell. Ever since they inserted him to the starting role, they've lost to one game, and that was to UConn, where they turned into the 2018 Rockets and missed like 30 straight shots. But since then, they've only lost one game since they did that. And I like this Johnny's team. I think they're a sleeper team that can go far. I believe they're a projected 4 seed right now.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. I've actually been looking at their futures markets here and seeing what kind of value we can get on the Red Storm here to make a push here in the tournament. I think they're underrated by a lot of people here, and anytime you got a coach like Rick Pitino, who's like I said, just in his own right, just obviously one of the top coaches of all time in college basketball. I think you're always gonna have a chance, and I think they've done some great recruiting. So I like this St. John's team a lot here. Stern, how do you feel about this team?
I think that they're in a really tough division here. Their projected bracket in the West region is going to be really tough to beat. But I have a plus 6,000 ticket on them, so I'll be rooting for them the entire time.
Awesome. That's outstanding value. Yeah, and we'll see here. But yeah, it might be a sleeper team, guys. Let's see how the bracket shakes out. But I'm keeping my eye on St. John's for sure. Next up here, we're gonna go to a little bit weaker team in a weaker conference. The Big Sky has produced some upsets in years past. I know Montana, I think, has had some upsets as a lower seed. I remember some other schools from this conference have had some 14, 15 seed upsets. I don't think we're going to expect it here from Idaho. Idaho came into this one as I believe, the seventh seed in the Big Sky tournament. So kind of a Cinderella story for them to make it this far and make it to the big dance here. But I don't think, in my personal opinion, I'm not really expecting much from them. Drew, what do we think about the Idaho team here?
So this Idaho team is very underrated, and very underrated team. I've watched them play. I actually, unfortunately, was on the tail end of betting against them versus Montana, but they went down and they beat up Montana State, Eastern Washington. They have some really good guards, and they also have a big guy named Roadbury who's just like 7'1", 260. But their guards they can shoot the three. Their guards are really good at facilitating. They have fire. I think they can possibly cause an upset. I think they might be a projected 13 seed. If they get a good matchup, they have a chance for an upset. But yeah, I think they're an underrated team, especially from the Big Sky.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, we'll see. To be honest with you, I haven't watched much of Idaho, so I'll defer to you on that. Stern, what do we think about the Idaho here?
Not as familiar with that conference. So I'm just going to pass, but I very much agree with whatever Drew said because, he's been watching them the entire year. I've heard him talk about them. I just haven't really gotten into the stats behind it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, well, we'll keep it moving then. We'll go to the Big South Conference here, where we have High Point as the auto bid from the Big South. Again, this is another school not too familiar with. I know, what was it, years past, I believe, was it Tommy? Am I getting my football coaches mixed up? Tommy Tuberville? Was he the basketball coach or football coach? I'm getting them mixed up. I think he was the coach. I know they had a famous coach who was a prestigious coach about maybe 4 or 5 years ago. But anyway, that's irrelevant to now. What do we think of High Point? I'll be honest, I have no thoughts on this team
Oh,
whatsoever.
I love this
Drew,
team.
hopefully you do.
Oh yeah, this team is so fun to watch. If you haven't watched them, I think they only have like 4 losses on the season. Last year, I believe they played. They were in the tournament because they won the conference tournament. I think they played Oregon and they lost. But this team, I think, is better this year. They're always a team that's fun to watch because they can shoot the three. They play fast. They run and gun, and they were the best team in the conference the whole year. I think they're projected a 12 seed. So if they did good, if they do get a good matchup with the five. No, it would be a four. Yeah, they can match up with a four. I think they have a possibility of causing an upset. And of course, to the listeners, if I'm saying a possibility, I'm not saying, oh, it's over 50%. I'm saying more like 5 to 10%. It's not like Queens where it's like good luck type possibility. So I think this team, if they play their game, they can run and gun, but their best chance is to play. They need to try to play a team who likes to play fast too, so they can match it.
Okay, good to know. Stern, any thoughts from you on High Point?
Nope, just a little bit of a higher variance, I guess I would say, going on their team. So that's going to be interesting to watch out for.
Cool. All right, we'll keep it moving then. Big West Conference is coming up next with the Rainbow Warriors of Hawaii going to be here making the dance in this tournament. Again, not really any solid thoughts for me on this one. Drew, what do we think of the Rainbow Warriors here? I know they're a little bit different away from the island than they are at home. So what do we think about them long term? Do they have a shot here to make any noise?
So I did a sad face because I was rooting for UC Irvine. I was rooting for them, but Hawaii just outplayed them, and Irvine was missing wide open layups. But the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors, this is the best team they probably ever had. They have this 7-footer on their team, and Isaac Johnson, who can shoot the three, 90% free throw shooter, and they also have Dre Bullock, who is an amazing guard. They have 3-point snipers everywhere. So, and I think they're projected 14 seed. They are a team. I think if they if they're able to hit their threes and they also play excellent defense, I think they do have a chance to stay in the game. It will be depend on matchup. This isn't a zero possibility, in my opinion, for an upset. I can see a 5% chance for an upset.
Okay, cool. And Stern, you know what? If you have any thoughts, just you can unmute yourself, and I'll just let you talk. Rather than pass it over to you and put you. I don't want to put you on the spot here in case you don't have anything. For this time, I'll just ask you: do you have any thoughts on Hawaii?
No, no, I don't. Thank you. Though, yeah, I do think that Drew's right here. It's going to be dependent if they're able to get their mojo going on the road, which is not historically their strong suit. So it's going to be interesting to see how they match up.
Okay, cool. And then going forward, we'll just keep running through the tournament auto bids, and if you have any thoughts, just unmute yourself, and I'll let you speak. But next up here, let's go to the CAA conference here, Hofstra, the auto bid here from this mid-major conference. Drew, what do we think of Hofstra? I know Hofstra used to be kind of a run and gun team. I'm not so sure if they're that anymore, but what do we think about them?
I like this Hofstra team because they did win me money this tournament. They had an amazing game against Towson when I was watching it, where they went into overtime and they won, and then they won their final game. I think they're projected, I believe it's a 13 seed right now. The tough thing about them is they can be run and gun, but if you slow them down, they usually panic. But they have a really good guard on their team. They're a very gritty team. They were technically the second best team in the conference. The best team and UNCW lost in the first round. But it'll be hard. Right now, they're projected to face Vanderbilt. And I think if they did face Vandy, they would probably lose. Their best bet is they need to match up with a team that plays slow, in my opinion, in order for them to have a chance.
Okay, got it. So then basically they're going to need to use their strength here, which is probably playing an up tempo place against a team that doesn't want to play up tempo. That's probably going to be their best bet here. As we find out who they're going to be matched up here in the bracket. Next up, let's go to the Conference USA here. Kennesaw State winning the CUSA bracket here, the conference auto bid. What do we think of Kennesaw? I know this has been an interesting team in years past. Are they legit here?
So, something I will say about Kennesaw State, they projected a 15 seed, right? And I'm going to say, just I've seen them play in the way they play. This is a good look. If they upset someone, that's like I'll be wrong, but I don't see them upsetting anyone personally. As a 15 seed, just the way they play, they're not terribly efficient. They rely a lot of paint scoring more than 3-point scoring. So they match up with an Iowa State. I think they'll get ran out the floor.
Okay, so probably a little bit more matchup dependent for them, but in any case, maybe a deuces to Kennesaw State here. RIP for them. Stern, what do you got on this team?
Yeah, I think it's going to be very similar to Queens College and Cal Baptist here. These are all teams that do not have extensive tournament experience, and it's going to be hard for the market to really kind of choose what the price should be, what the spread's going to be. And I actually think there's decent chances to find arbitrage opportunities here, because a lot of these books are going to have these priced very, very different depending on how they see the stats and how it translates interconference.
Okay, great. Good stuff there. Let's keep it moving here. We're going to go to the Horizon League, where we have the conference tournament champions, Wright State, punching their ticket here to the dance. Horizon League has been a league that I've kept my eye on over the years. It's been one of the more entertaining leagues for me personally. But Drew, what do we think of Wright State here? What kind of projections can we see from them?
Yeah, I haven't watched Wright State as much, but I've watched some of the Horizon League. So I will say a Wright State. I know they're projected a 14 seed. If they are a 14 seed, they would probably have to face. I'm guessing like a Michigan State or like an Illinois, or in that matter. So that will be kind of good luck. But I haven't done much research on Wright State. So if they're a 14 seed and they have to face like Illinois, or Michigan State, it's going to be very hard for them.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
actually
Okay. Oh, go ahead,
sorry.
sir. Yeah, go ahead.
I
No,
actually
go ahead. Yeah, what do you think?
I actually like them a lot. They have a lot of experience, but I have them projected against Michigan State also, and that is going to be a nightmare of a matchup.
Okay, so pretty much, yeah,
Especially with
see
Izzo
the,
and the tourney. Izzo goes far.
yeah, yeah. You can't really fade Izzo in the tournament, right? He's Mr. March. So yeah, all right. Well, we'll see what happens with Wright State here. Let's keep it moving here. We're gonna go to the MAC. MAC conference here. Siena, the conference winners over there at the MAC, getting an auto bid here to March Madness proper. Well, Drew, I have absolutely no thoughts whatsoever on Siena. But what do you think?
Good luck. They're projected a 15 seed. I'm sorry, but I'm a firm believer all these 1 and 2 seeds are the most top heavy 1 and 2 seeds we've probably seen, in a while. It's just going to be very hard for them, personally, because I believe the projected 2 seeds are like UConn, Houston, and then Iowa State, and then another 2 seed is Purdue. If they were to have the best bet against, it would probably be Purdue. Purdue's a really good team. Of course, it's just that they can be off and on, but this is a good luck, kind of Queens category.
Okay, so maybe just another team that's just happy to get here. I know Siena's they do have some tournament pedigree. They've made the tournament multiple times, but yeah, this season I think I'm with you. The 1 and 2 seeds are just that much significantly better than years past, and I think it's going to be really tough to see a 15 or a 16 seed upset one of these big dogs here as we get to the bracketology side of things here. But let's keep it moving. We're going to go to the other MAC conference here, where we got Akron. Akron winning this conference. The Zip from Akron. I know again in years past this has been a pretty quality side here. Another up tempo team. I'm not sure if they're still up tempo now, but Drew, you can tell me what do we think
Yeah.
about Akron?
Yeah, their tempo matches their name, the Zips.
Yeah, true.
They had an amazing win yesterday. They came back from 10 down. I love this team. They're projected a 12 seed. Actually, they're projected right now, according to Lenardi, to face Kansas. I think I'm not being biased if they do face Kansas. I think Kansas will dominate them. But they need to get good matchup with the 5th seed if they are a 12 seed. I think, in my
So let
personal
me.
opinion. But they are a team that can cause an upset, especially the way they shoot the three and how fast they play and how high energy they are. They're a very high energy team. A lot of people believe they were the best team in the conference over in Miami, Ohio. But if they get down early, what they've done this conference is they've gone down early before and they blow teams out the water after they go down early. They can't do this in this tournament when they face a 5 seed. That's probably going to be a Power 5 team. If they go down early against a Power 5 team like Kansas and such, they're not going to blow that lead like they're used to.
So let me ask you this question because I am really intrigued by Akron. I do think this is one of the teams that maybe could upset a higher seed in the tournament here. And just real quick, we don't need an in-depth analysis on the team, but what team? Just give me one team that you could see Akron playing. That could be a realistic matchup here in the first round, where
Yes.
Akron could win.
Yes, I think one team it would be is Texas Tech. Texas Tech's projected a 5 seed. I know Texas Tech has done decently without Toppin, but the problem is what Texas Tech relies on with Obi Toppin, not Obi Toppin, JT Toppin, no relation to them too, is shoot the three. If they can't shoot the three well against Akron, they face them. Akron can beat them in multiple ways because Texas Tech relies on a lot of 3-point shooting without JT Toppin.
Got it. Okay, well, we'll see what happens
Yeah.
then. Hopefully that's gonna be the matchup. Sir, what do you got on this
Yeah,
Akron team?
I think what Drew said is spot on. If they're close in the fourth quarter or the second half, the end of the second half, just watch out because they can execute.
Yeah, maybe one of the more fun teams to watch in the nation here are the Akron
Yeah,
Zips. So
because
interested to
the
see.
Texas Tech doesn't
Yeah,
have like a Darren Peterson, like one of those guys right now to like take over for the other team. Because if you look at another team that I was looking at that could face is Arkansas. Arkansas is projected 5 seed. Like I remember Stern said, it's going to be hard to face a team that has like an Acuff or a Peterson or something.
yeah, I think that might be the theme of the tournament here. You want to stay away from teams that have some of these lottery picks that are expected to be drafted high into the NBA because those players are just that good that at any point they can probably take over a game here in the tournament. So if you're a lower seed, you'd rather play one of these teams that doesn't have one of those top highly rated players on their team. But anyway, here let's keep it moving. We're gonna go to the MEAC conference here. Howard getting their ticket here to the big dance. I'm assuming this is another team that's just happy to be
Good
here,
luck.
and they'll be crossed off the list
Yeah,
here
they're a
pretty
16
shortly.
seed. Good luck. I think they're projected to face Duke right now. So good luck.
Yeah, yeah. Night to them. Next up here, let's go to the Missouri Valley, where we have the University of Northern Iowa. The auto bids here from the Missouri Valley. This has been an intriguing team in the past. It's another team that has made the tournament in years prior. And if I'm not mistaken, I thought they had an upset one year. Maybe my memory is
I think you're
failing me here,
right.
but I think they did one year as a higher seed. Of course, they're always going to be a higher seed playing in the Missouri Valley, but. Well, what do we think about them? I don't really haven't really heard much from them this season. But what do we got on
So
UNI?
they got hot at the right time. They were a 5 seed in the tournament. And they won it. They're projected 12 seed, kind of like Akron. So it's going to be matchup dependent. I think personally, because I think the 5 seeds are like Tech, Kansas, Arkansas, and I think there's one other team. So it's going to be matchup dependent for them. I think they do have a chance to cause an upset, especially the way they can shoot. So yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, let's keep it moving then. We're gonna go to the Mountain West Conference next up. This is a fascinating team to me, Utah State. I know we've talked about them before in our group chats, and Utah State, of course, they were the number one seed in the Mountain West Conference. Ended up winning the tournament, if I'm not mistaken here. And Utah State, a very good team at home. Of course, this one's not going to be at home here as they're playing in the tournament, but in any case, I think this is an underrated team here. They're probably going to be I would assume a higher seed here. But what kind of progression do we think of Utah State, and what kind of seed do you think they're going to get?
Yeah, I think they're going to get a 7 seed. They were in the tournament. No matter what if they won that, and I think that raised it a little bit. Honestly, they're going to face a 10 seed. That's probably a Power Five conference team. I think the bracket I see right now, what it's projected is Texas A&M. I think they can cause an upset. They have elite defense. They can turn over the ball. They can shoot the three, and they can also drive to the paint. They're a very scrappy team. But what gets them and gets them to the point where they can lose is if they do not shoot well from three, they struggle and they panic. We saw it against UNLV the second time around where they shot like 13% from the field in the first half. So this team, they do face a Power Five conference team because if they do, they're going to face a team that's technically seated lower than them. And if they have to face a team that can shoot the three with them, they may have a hard time. And also, they're not a big team, so if they're able to face a team that has size, they're gonna struggle. But they do have a chance, of course, to win because I can't say upset because they'll be a higher seed than the team they face.
So if I were to make a correlation here to the NBA, is it fair to say that they're kind of like the Boston Celtics of the NBA in terms of how many threes they shoot and how they rely on the 3 point shot pretty heavily? Is that an accurate statement to make about Utah?
So they don't rely on it heavily, but they're a much better 3 point shooting team to the extent to where, like basically, like they're really good at shooting the three. They can drive to the paint, but they settle for a lot of threes when the paint is clogged. And if they're making it, which they have a lot of people that can, they're hard to beat.
Okay, and then Stern, what do you got on this Utah State side here?
I'm seeing a lot of sharp money on them. A lot. This could be dangerous. I don't necessarily have all the answers of why a team's necessarily sharp money is coming in on them, but something to be aware of here and something I'm going to definitely be looking out for.
Okay, great. And then next up here, I'm gonna try to speed it up here a little bit, guys. We're already going on 45 minutes here. And of course, it's just a preview show, so we don't want to spend too much of you guys' time here. So let's try to keep our analysis here to like under a minute, or let's just give a real quick brief review here. What you think about the team? We'll see if we can get out of here within the next 10 minutes or so. But next up, we're gonna go to the Northeastern Conference. The Long Island Sharks here, making it to the tournament here. Drew, quickly, any thoughts at all for the Sharks here?
Yeah, so Long Island Sharks actually got him by default because I believe it was Mercyhurst or
Oh,
something.
that's right.
Yeah,
Mercyhurst, they're
yeah, but I
ineligible,
think
right?
they
Yeah.
still ended up winning, if I'm wrong. But the Long Island Sharks, this is kind of like a good luck, a good story kind of thing. Yeah, I'm just gonna say that because I forgot what the projected seeding, but it's kind of like a good luck kind of thing in my personal opinion. I think they projected a 16 seed. Yeah, they're projected base Arizona right now.
Okay, so not much to say about them. All right, then next we'll go to the Ohio Valley here. We have Tennessee State. I think this is probably another good luck team, if I'm not mistaken. But Drew, I'll confirm with you. What do we got for Tennessee State?
Yeah, Tennessee State. Personally, I see this as kind of like another good luck team. I haven't watched them that much, but I believe they're projected a pretty like much lower seed. So yeah.
Yeah, it probably depends who they play, and then we'll see what the spread is and see if we can find any angles here on some of these lower seeds. But definitely, none of them. We're not really projecting them to win outright. Patriot League here, Lehigh. Any thoughts at all from you, Drew?
So something I like about Lehigh is they can shoot the ball. They shoot pretty well. But they're projected a 16 seed. Actually, they're projected, I believe, to play for a 16 seed in the first four against Prairie View. So it's going to be good luck. Yeah, it'll be like enjoy your
Okay.
first four win if you win
Yeah,
it. You know.
yeah. I would expect them to probably beat Prairie View, but you never know. Those first fours can be a little tricky sometimes. But in any case, whoever wins that game, it's definitely curtains for them in the
Especially after face
next
Florida.
round. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then I called the real first round. I know they call this what is like round zero or something. I don't know. They changed it all up, but for me, the first round is always Thursday. So whatever you want to call it before then is fine. But in any case, here, curtains for them. And then we're gonna go to the SoCon here, where Furman. Furman is an interesting team in years past. The Paladins. They've made some noise in tournaments before. This is a tournament tested team in terms of their heritage here. But quickly here, just a minute or less. What are your thoughts on Furman?
Furman's a pretty big team. Um, they're not a terrible team. But there's something I will say though. They're projected a 15 seed. So I'm just going to say good luck to them. They have a chance. I say if you pick 1 15 seed, they may be the 15 seed that has a chance to like a 1% chance to cause an upset, just because of how big they are and they can score and they play pretty good defense.
Okay, and then Stern, you got something on this Furman team here, the Paladins?
Yeah, I like them a lot also as a potential upset from the way that they shoot the threes. Their volume is pretty impressive. So something to keep eye out for. I think that they have a chance.
Okay, great. Then next up here, we'll go to the Southland Conference. Where we have McNeese State as the auto bid here, making their tournament appearance. Drew, what do we think of McNeese?
So I love McNeese. They're projected 12 seed. These 12 seeds may be scary. Like I said, it was Akron and then it was Northern Iowa. This will be the scariest, I think, 12 seed. McNeese plays amazing defense. They like love to trap full court. They have players that can shoot the three. They play like the Zips. Like they're very twitchy. They'll take weird shots and they'll somehow go in. And we know what McNeese did last year against Clemson. Last year they had Copeland, but now they don't. NC State has Copeland. But yeah, they're a team that could cause an upset. Honestly, they're the one team I wouldn't want to see if as a Kansas fan, because just how they play the game.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but it almost seems like the committee, it almost feels like they intentionally put a 12 seed against a 5 seed, making that 12 seed a team that like could very well beat that 5 seed. I don't know if it's just a circumstantial, just based on them being a 12 seed and a 5 seed, but it almost seems intentional to me sometimes. Like you'll see matchups where even the 12 seed probably could be even favored against a 5 seed in a lot of cases. I think that's probably why a lot of times you'll see the 12 seed upset a 5 seed in a tournament here. So interested to see what McNeese does here. I think this is a sleeper team here that could make some noise in the tournament. But next up, we'll go to the SWAC. We don't need to spend much time on this. Prairie View Union, we just talked about them.
Good
Going
luck.
to be a first four team. Good luck. The SWAC traditionally just does not do well in the tournament. They're pretty much a year in year out first four. And regardless of if they make the tournament proper or not, they just don't really do anything. So we'll just skip right past them. We'll go to the Summit League here, North Dakota State. What do we think of this team here, Drew?
North Dakota State. They're an underrated team. I've actually like watched them play against North Dakota. They can shoot the three like pretty dang well. They did beat North Dakota to win their tourney. Though they're projected 13 seeds, so there's some gettable 4 seeds. I believe the 4 seeds are Alabama, Nebraska, and then another one I saw was Vanderbilt as well. So yeah, I think they do have like a slight like 1-2% chance of causing upset because of the way they can shoot.
Okay, so we'll see who they end up getting matched up against, and maybe that's a team that we can look at on a spread. Next up here, we'll go to the Sun Belt. We're getting down to the last three here, guys, so we're almost done. Sun Belt Conference here, the Trojans of Troy. This is the team that's going to be here in the dance here. What do we think of this Trojans team from Troy?
Oh, I love this Troy team, the rejected 13 seed. People forget though, they did place USC and they would have beat USC if it wasn't for a crazy buzzer beater by USC in non-conference.
I remember that.
Yeah, and that was when USC was like fully healthy and stuff. This Troy team, they can shoot, they can score, they can play defense, they can do everything. And remember when who was it that was on that epic run in the Sun Belt and they just demolished them? I forgot who it was, and the people didn't expect them to win. But Troy, they're a team that can cause an upset, I believe, as a 13 seed.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm pretty high on Troy as well. I think this is another team we got to keep our eye on here. Look at the spread. Look at who they're playing against, and might be a team that we want to attack. Not only on the spread, but maybe on the money line. We're probably going to get a good price for them, depending on who they end up playing here, which we'll find out shortly. Next up, we got two more games, guys, to cover here, or two more teams, I should say. We're going to go to the WAC conference here. Cal Baptist, the winners here in the WAC, representing this conference. Mid-major team, very much so. But I know, Drew, you've kind of had your eye on the WAC a little bit more than maybe us, the rest of us here. What are your thoughts on this Cal Baptist team?
So
Any realistic chances?
So what a win by them yesterday. Dominic Daniels, their best player. They're like a one-player team. He's the third leading scorer in the nation, and he was 4 of 22. But it doesn't matter how he start because at one point Calabasas was like plus 2,000 to win, and this guy hit three straight threes to seal the deal. So this team has that guy. It's just whether the other players can contribute for Cal Baptist. But it's going to be hard for them to upset just having one player. So I don't really give him as high of a chance to cause an upset just because for that reason. And if other players can contribute besides him, they can, but they turn over the ball too much for my liking.
Okay, so maybe just a little bit too much of a one-man team. It's called Baptist, so we'll see who they end up matching up against. And then finally, here, guys, the West Coast representative, of course, Gonzaga. It's an annual tradition here for the Zags to be representing the West Coast. Of course, they're always going to be projected as an Elite Eight minimum type of team here. I'm expecting the same type of output in this tournament. What kind of seed can we expect from them? And what kind of progression can we expect of them throughout the tournament? What are their outlook? What's their outlook here?
So I like this Gonzaga team a lot. Of course, they have Graham Ike, who's one of the top like big mans in the league. I believe they're still out with their other big guy Huff, which is the problem. So that's going to be hard to overcome. But Grant Foster from GCU has been great for them. The thing about Gonzaga, I know people give them hate. Their issue is they can't win the title, but their issue isn't going to Elite Eight. So they're good at, especially with Mark Few, taking them to Elite Eights.
Awesome, and yeah, we've mentioned before. I think coaching is a big part of getting into the tournament here, and how far you progress in the tournament. I think coaching matters more and more the deeper you get. So having a coach like Mark Few, some of these more experienced coaches who have been through it, I think you're going to like your chances a little bit more. Having a veteran leader there on the sidelines, helping the guys stay focused here and getting them in order here. So yeah, I think the Zags have a great chance here to make it pretty far in the tournament as per usual here. The Zags are traditionally a great team come tournament time. So expecting nothing less from them this season. And that's really going to do it, guys, for our auto bids and our preview show here. Before I get us out of here, Stern, any final thoughts from you? Anything that maybe we should be looking for once the selection comes out? Anything we should
Yes.
looking for during the selection? What do you got for us?
Very much so. So I am very much sports betting centered, and I'm going to be looking immediately for arbitrage opportunities. Just like when a boxing slate or MMA slate comes out, usually books will have them priced very differently. So I'm going to be looking for arbitrage opportunities, and I think that we're going to find some, especially with those lower seed teams like Queens College, Cal Baptist, Kennesaw State. I think that we're going to see huge opportunities in the spread. So that's what
Yeah,
I'm going
I'm
to be
with you.
looking
I think
for.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that's usually probably where you're going to find your most value is in those lower seeded games. That's where you might find the most variance, and so you can probably find really good prices from you shop around and you can find a good price on a certain book that may have the line just a little bit too exaggerated for the favorite. So I'm with you on that, and hopefully we'll be able to do another show here either tonight. We have to talk about it here. We're hoping to do it tonight. If not tonight, then probably tomorrow night. But we're hoping to do another post bracketology show here where we'll cover the brackets here. We'll cover the individual matchups. We'll give you our tournament favorites, and we'll give it a little bit more in depth here in the actual brackets here. As we are going to have the remainder of the at-large bids here going to be released here within the next couple of hours. So we'll see how everything shakes out. Before I get us out of here, Drew, any final
Yes.
thoughts here before Selection Sunday show happens here in a couple hours?
Yep, definitely. Stern said it perfectly. Another thing is, guys, we will have games on Tuesdays and Wednesday for the first four. So there's going to be 8 games. No, there's going to be 4 games with 8 teams, right? For the first four, so they can get into the tournament. So that's going to be very exciting to watch. These teams are fighting it into the tournament, the NCAAB tournament. So we'll definitely talk about those games tomorrow as well when they get released. So hey, we're only going to be one day without college basketball, and that's tomorrow.
Yeah, great time for college basketball fans, great time for sports fans. This is often referred to as the greatest time of the year, March Madness tournament time here. So really excited to see what ends up happening here, who makes it, who doesn't. I'm sure we'll have some debates here on who should have made it, who shouldn't have made it. Of course, the hot topic team right now is Miami of Ohio. They're by far the team that's on the most people's minds in terms of are they going to make it or not. I think most people are in agreement that you should make it if you only have one loss on your resume. Others would argue the strength of schedule making an impact. So we'll see what ends up happening. We'll find out here shortly. We will definitely have another podcast here reacting to all the selections, the brackets, and everything else related to the March Madness tournament. So we appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, this has been the Only Bet Sports Betting Podcast. Alongside my co-host Stern Bets and Drew DeLucci, I'm Prince of Picks. We will talk to you guys soon. Thanks, everyone.